Let's talk about the vibe first. Everybody likes talking about the vibe. That's the new phrase everybody likes, talking about the vibe. What's the vibe like? Well, every year you hear players say the same generic stuff about spring training. Guys are working hard. We like the direction we're going. Everyone's bought in. But when you listen to the Padres players this spring, they're talking about something very specific. They're talking about how the work is happening. Instead of a massive team-wide drills every single day, the Padres are doing more individualized work, smaller groups, earlier sessions, more time in cages, more time in the field with coaches. Guys like Fernando Tatis Jr. and Jake Cronenworth said they love it because the philosophy is simple. If every individual player gets better during spring training, the team automatically gets better. Sounds obvious, but in baseball development, that level of individualized attention is huge. And that's where the youth of this coaching staff starts to matter. Look around this Padres staff. I want to start with the hitting coach. The hitting coach is Steven Souza Jr., who was literally playing in the big leagues just a few years ago. Then you got guys like Kevin Plawecki, Ryan Goins, and Nick Punto. These are guys who are facing the exact same game these hitters are facing right now. They understand what 98 miles an hour actually looks like because that's the biggest change in baseball. 10 or 15 years ago, seeing 97 or 98 was rare. Now, everybody throws that. Starters throw it, relievers throw it, setup men throw it, closers throw it. And it's not just velocity, it's pitch shapes, analytics, scouting reports, sequencing. Modern hitters are basically preparing for 3 different pitchers throwing 99 with wipeout sliders in one game. And the Padres now have a hitting coach in Steven Souza Jr., who actually lived that experience. He's not explaining it from theory. He faced it. He dealt with it. He made adjustments to survive it. And from what we've already are hearing in camp, his message to hitters has been about being scrappy in the box, competing every pitch, shortening up when needed, grinding out at bats. And if you watch Padres spring training at bats so far, you're starting to see that. You're starting to see more competitive at bats. You're starting to see more 2-strike approaches, more grinding through plate appearances. That's the kind of offensive identity that can change games over the course of a long season. Let's talk about the pitching side. Because while the offensive coaches are young and relatable, the pitching brain trust is something different entirely. It's a collection of some of the smartest pitching minds in baseball. You got Ruben Niebla, who has built a reputation across the league as one of the best pitching developers in the sport. You got Ben Fritz, another analytical pitching mind who understands modern pitching mechanics and data. And now you've got the perspective of former big league pitcher leading the entire group in Craig Stammen, who spent over a decade in the majors. This is a pitching infrastructure that combines experience, analytics, and recent playing knowledge. And that matters when you're managing a pitching staff that has elite talent, but also massive expectations. Because if the Padres are going to reach their ceiling this season, their pitching staff has to stay dominant. But the thing that I find the most fascinating about this entire coaching staff, it's the relatability. Players keep using that word, relatable. And in today's game, that matters more than ever. Because the modern player isn't just looking for instruction, they're looking for connection. They want coaches who understand the grind, who understand the mental battle, who understand how hard this game actually is in the modern era. When Nick Castellanos, who, by the way, has talked about in the past about not trust, or the reports have been that he hadn't trust coaches that didn't play in the league and all sorts of disclaimers about Nick Castellanos and coaching staffs. But when Nick Castellanos talked about the Padres coaching staff, he said something really interesting. These guys aren't that far removed from the cleats. They've been in the fight. They understand the daily battle. And that kind of trust between players and coaches can completely change the culture of a clubhouse. And here's why this could become such a big deal for the Padres. It's already a really good team. I think they are going to be a good team. I know Fangraphs disagrees. I know a lot of experts might disagree. But I think on paper, this team's a really good team. The Padres are not just trying to build something from scratch. They already won 90-plus games last year. They already have elite talent. They already have a roster capable of winning a division and making a deep playoff run. So the question isn't, are the Padres good? The question is, how do they unlock that next level of making a playoff run? Because in baseball, sometimes the difference between a good team and a championship team isn't talent, but it's the details. Better preparation, better communication, better adjustments. And that's exactly what this coaching staff is designed to provide. So when I look at this Padres team heading into 2026, I see something really interesting. I see a roster that already proved it can win. But now it's paired with a coaching staff that understands modern baseball at the highest level. Young minds, recent playing experience, pitching experts, communication that resonates with players, and a spring training structure that's focused on individual improvement that leads to team success. That combination could be dangerous. Because if this coaching staff really clicks the way it appears to be clicking right now, the Padres might not just be a good team again this year. They might become a better version of the team that already won 90 games. And if that happens, don't be surprised if the biggest difference maker in the Padres 2026 season isn't a new superstar, but it's the guys in the dugout. And Frank, we looked at this article and we talked about it a little bit, but the communication from players about Steven Souza Jr., about the coaching staff built around them, about their approach at the plate, a lot of them really like the new modern take on what a lot of these guys have been brought in to do. And right now, I love the way that Steven Souza Jr. has been leading this offense so far. And I know it's just spring training, but the at-bats have been really impressive.
Yeah, that was the main takeaway that I took, is that it felt like a more archaic approach that the coaching staff had in years past, and now you're getting more in tune with the analytics that you see and that you get from all of these at bats. And I think you're right. The younger coaching staff does have a lot to do with it, and guys that not only played recently, but because they played recently, they understand all of this new stuff, these new analytics. You're not trying to teach an old dog new tricks, quote unquote. So it does make sense that these guys would be able to connect to the players a little bit more, not because they just played recently, but because they're not trying to relay information that they may not fully understand. These guys are young enough and played recently enough that, yeah, they do get it, and they worked off of these same numbers. And maybe like Steven Souza Jr. might be relaying the information in a different way, or is showing the guys, hey, this is also a different way to interpret this stuff, and you might see a couple players get unlocked this year.
I can't wait to see what this team does in the regular season, because this weekend, Frank, the bats were out. I mean, Saturday didn't really go their way a little bit against Cleveland, but Herman Marquez pitched pretty well on Friday, and the bats were live yesterday, and they've been live during this process. And I heard Tony say it on the radio during one of the broadcasts about, like, these at-bats they're putting together have been phenomenal. We